in the past 4 years, the amount of civilian residential building damaged in the course of war is bigger than a number of, industrial locations, industrial facilities. What does it say? It says that it's a deliberate target of the Russian commanders.
President Zelensky says all efforts to negotiate with Moscow have failed after an overnight drone and missile attack in Kyiv. At least 18 people were killed. Kateryna Malofieieva is a freelance reporter based in Ukraine and is with us now. Kateryna, welcome to the programme.
Hi, Calum.
It's good to speak to you. Thanks so much for joining us. Just describe for us the damage done by last night's strike.
Well, you probably heard the phrase already many times from me and other people who live in Ukraine that the last 24 hours has been probably some of the worst that Kyiv has experienced since the beginning of the invasion, since 2022. And I would say something additional that I'm happy not to be in Kyiv today. I'm in Kharkiv, in another city that you also know about, that has been bombarded in the past 4 years massively. And it's very good that you ask me about the numbers, because the numbers say really what it should say. So by now, 22 people died. 85 people were injured. Kyiv was attacked by 28 ballistic missiles. The warehouse of Ukrainian Red Cross has been damaged with 320,000 items of humanitarian supply completely burned. Publishing house as well with 800,000 books. Animals injured in the zoo. So when we talk about these casualties, when we talk about the attacks that are increasing over and over again, the audience, the viewers might ask, like, what's going on? Why are they attacking again the building, the civilian population? Because to be honest, like, I have another numbers I haven't to tell you that actually in the past 4 years, the amount of civilian residential building damaged in the course of war is bigger than a number of, industrial locations, industrial facilities. What does it say? It says that it's a deliberate target of the Russian commanders, right? Because we have these numbers. I was reading just before you the very good record of account of basically mapping, that mapping of all the attacks on Kyiv in the past 4 years. And it actually shows the same locations. Honestly, you understand that, for example, if there was like a military facility, right, for sure people would remove it, right? But no, over and over again, the same residential areas have been attacked, just like sporadically.
Yeah. I saw earlier that President Zelensky was actually out and about in Kyiv today, wasn't he? Was he visiting the damaged area and speaking to people there?
He was, and he visited the Darnitsa district. It's very close to my house where I live in Kyiv. So Darnitsa is in the left bank, and it's an industrial area, but, normally it's a railway junction as well. But also this time, this area has been attacked, like it has impact in just 3 locations around, like 3 houses just in the same spot, and again and again and again, like kindergarten and 3 buildings around. And he visited this location, he visited the residential area, and he said today that first of all, that Russia is losing the war. This is a clear sign that Russia is losing the war. And that the upcoming meetings, NATO meetings, one of the most important issue to raise is air defense, because this is what Russia is doing, trying to exhaust the city's capacity to protect civilians. So this will be a question number 1 at the next NATO meeting upcoming.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's a clear sign. He also mentioned that after this attack on Kyiv, there will be a retaliation from Ukraine. Because, if you could see the pictures of Ukrainian drones attacking Russian, oil facilities, oil depots. And then you have like absolutely not equal amount of, civilians died in Ukraine, in Kyiv, and in other cities. So it's not a margin of error. It's a deliberate attack, deliberate terror on Ukrainian cities.
Yeah, it's interesting to monitor the political responses to all of this as well. This from Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He posted a couple of hours ago, so Putin responds to Ukraine's successful attacks on Russian oil depots by targeting innocent civilians in Kyiv and murdering women and children. The Russian president is going to lose his revolting war, which he never should have started. But the truth is that Western governments are doing nothing like enough to bring him to the negotiating table. Why won't we systematically take out the shadow fleet? Why won't we give the Ukrainians the hundreds of billions of frozen assets? And why is the UK of all countries now buying Russian aviation fuel, even if it has been refined in third countries under a loophole recently opened by Sir Keir Starmer? This means British cash is helping to fund Putin's war machine. It's a total disgrace, and if Starmer wants a legacy, he should end the practice now, says Boris Johnson. Does it feel in Ukraine as though support from allies is fragmented, Kateryna, is, I suppose, directionless to some extent?
No, we are very grateful to all the allies, to all the counterparts. We are grateful to the UK, to Poland, even though there are some political tension, because after all, it's like this, the people who are helping us in many, sometimes when the governments don't have understanding, people help. UK has its role with the Russian assets, but we don't forget about Euroclear, don't forget about Brussels. So it's the European response as well. But no, I would. Whenever you speak to Ukrainians, civilians or on the front line soldiers, they will be absolutely grateful for help in any form, because either we can buy these patriots, either something can be supplied. We are absolutely grateful for this. So, with regards to economic sanctions, as you can see, that it doesn't do much. The war in Iran definitely boosted the economy of Russia first few months, economy and it's visible that there are issues with the economy, there are problems with Russia, and we can see more and more video, social media coming from Russian populations that are angry with current politics.
Okay.
Let's see what's happened next.
Yeah, indeed. Kateryna, it's great to speak to you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Kateryna Malofieieva, a reporter speaking to us from Ukraine.